every pound of aggression must be counterbalanced by an equal measure of serenity. Meditation is required, so is courtesy. Then there's the anthem to honor, and the pledge to recite, and why don't we skip all this stuff and get to the fighting part? Sorry, that goes against everything that's been taught about restraint and the strict moral code of this 2,000-year-old sport.
It's not to be used in an aggressive manner. It's only for defense. People who know Taekwondo use it only to defend themselves.
Fine, that's an admirable stance. But what would happen if some macho oddball tried to prove himself by taking a couple of swings at one of those Taekwondo experts?
If you made a move at me, I'd put you down in 1 second with one blow.
One blow? 1 second? Even the women? And the children? Hey, relax. It was just a hypothetical question. Besides, who would care to mess with anyone in this country, knowing that, with few exceptions, all able-bodied men have to serve in the armed forces, and they all have to learn Taekwondo. Here, even the 5-year-olds look tough. Imagine inviting this group over for your child's birthday party. Honey, what's that noise in the family room? Cut it out, kids. Cut it out. Thank you. Thank you for changing the subject to the benefits of screaming.
It helps you to focus and concentrate on the target, or the part of your opponent's body that you're trying to hit.
In competition, there are 3 rounds lasting 3 minutes each. Scoring is based on the accuracy of the blows, most of them executed with the feet. No punches are allowed to the head, but kicks? Yes, sir. And yes, ma'am. This is an equal opportunity endeavor.
In the old days, Korean women were expected to stay home and act feminine. Nowadays, though, we want to show off our talents as modern women.
Obviously, the Korean team is heavily favored to win most of the gold medals in the upcoming Olympic competition. True, it's only a demonstration sport, but that's all right. It's a demonstration of Korea's penchant for mind over matter.
It is not only dynamic in its actions, but also it requires tremendous discipline. And we want to produce good human beings, strong in body and mind.
In other words, tough people who prefer to use their heads. Now, doesn't that hurt? For today, Mike Leonard, NBC News, Seoul.
Convention Hall in Atlantic City is full of activity, all in preparation for the moment when the curtain goes up on the Miss America pageant, Saturday.
How can you tell when someone you love has a drug or alcohol problem? Look for warning signs like mood swings, paranoia, anger, lies, despair, missed work, money problems. If you or someone you love is in trouble with drugs or alcohol, Charter can help. We offer real solutions to your family's problems.
Call Charter Hospital of Long Beach. Take the first step.
You could be allergic to your husband. Next, Donahue.
Channel 4 News, the 8:25 report. Here is Kent Shocknek.
And a very good morning to you. 67 degrees and still cloudy most places at 8:25, now local news. A special oil fire crew from Texas arrived in Ventura County just a little while ago to help fight a blaze burning out of control near Fillmore. The fire broke out yesterday at an oil well, apparently touched off by an electrical spark. One worker has been burned over 50% of his body. A spokesman for the oil well owner, Seneca Oil, says they hope to have the blaze out within the next 24-hour period. A Teamsters spokesman says there is little hope that the entertainment industry will be able to avoid another strike. Union members are expected to vote down what producers call their final offer to the Teamsters. Producers say they will hire non-union workers to keep their shows going. Some of the Teamsters would have to take pay cuts under the producers' proposed contract. Democratic vice presidential candidate Lloyd Bentsen becomes the last member of a major ticket to campaign in the Southland today. He'll arrive at Ontario Airport this afternoon for a union rally in San Bernardino. The theme of his visit will be 60 days. 60 days to the election, also 60 days plant notice for closings. One last time. Now let's hit the roads to find out how the drive to work is progressing or not progressing. Paul Johnson is over at Metro Traffic. He can fill us in. Paul?
Well, Kent, a bit heavy and slow out on the San Diego Freeway northbound. The problem is at National Boulevard on that northbound 405. We have an accident. About 3 vehicles involved, and that all combines to slow traffic back toward LAX. Out in the valley, the Antelope Valley Freeway southbound on the transition to the southbound Golden State. Accident there to slow traffic. And the San Bernardino Freeway eastbound at Valley. Non-injury collision there. Still clearing to the right shoulder, so drive carefully. Paul Johnson, Metro Traffic. Kent, have a great weekend.
Paul, you too. Let me ask you a question. Paul, you going golfing this weekend?
Is the sun coming up tomorrow? I'll be out there.
All right, Paul. I had to ask, didn't I? Thanks, Paul. I should have known. We're going to have a preview of another sport, America's Cup Race, Chapter 2 in this case. Straight ahead, we will first take a look at these figures from Wall Street. The market down 16.5 points on light trading. It's 8:27.
Wickes Furniture ushers in the new season with a money-saving store-wide autumn home sale. Save $890 on this 11-piece genuine rattan living room. The entire room is just $1999.98. Save $400 on this 5-piece butcher block dining room. Only $899.98 in Wickes Autumn Home Sale. No payments or finance charges for 90 days with a Wickes charge.
Quality made affordable by Wickes Furniture.
In sports, the Dodgers face Cincinnati at home tonight. Yesterday, they lost to Houston 2-1. The Angels beat Texas 4-3. They will have a rematch later on this evening. And the second and probably last America's Cup race in this year's offing is going to be run off San Diego today. Dennis Conner skippered the Stars and Stripes catamaran to win #1 on Wednesday, and only a serious blunder could prevent him now from wrapping up the 2 out of 3 series a little later on today. Finally for us this morning, a preview of the weekend weather. And after last weekend, anything's going to look good, but it should be especially nice this weekend. Pleasant and cool during the cloudy morning hours. We'll have afternoons of hazy sunshine and mild high temperatures. Mid-80s downtown Los Angeles, maybe a 90-degree reading here or there in the valleys. It's 8:28. Carla and I will see you at 5 o'clock this evening. Meanwhile, you have a good day.
Channel 4 News, this edition with Kent Shocknek. Stay tuned to Channel 4 for news throughout the day.
Fight Back with David Horowitz, Saturday at 6 on Channel 4.
The LA County Fair opens Thursday in Pomona. Never has so much fun been crammed into so little time.
Presenting Lea Perrins, the world's one-of-a-kind Worcestershire sauce, and for chicken, fish, and lighter foods, Lea Perrins White Wine Worcestershire Sauce. A unique blend of white wine and special herbs and spices that adds a delicate yet distinctive flavor to chicken, to fish, to salads and lighter foods. Lea Perrins Original Worcestershire for hearty foods, Lea Perrins White Wine Worcestershire for lighter foods. Now, there are 2 one-of-a-kinds.
My friends are always saying to me, Gallagher, you're a pretty messy guy. What, were you born in a barn? That's why I never buy carpet, furniture, even clothes that didn't have Scotchgard protection. Which is great, because cleanup is just as easy when you see this label on fine clothing. Which is great, because when you're me, making a mess is just this easy. Dinner!
Available on most Oshkosh Bagosh knit shirts.
She's the Sheriff, Saturday at 7:30 on Channel 4.
We're back at 8:30, and one more time I get to say, what was that?
Well,
one more time I get to say,
guest.
David Frost is here for Bryant Gumbel. I told you yesterday I'm going to miss you when you're gone.
I'm going to miss you
this
so
has been
much.
a great week.
Bryant's a very lucky man, and Gary's an even luckier one.
Well, I'll tell them both you said so.
I concur. Well, maybe we can do some guest shots on your show. Why don't you have us on?
Could you do long-range weather forecasts?
Don't you do the Weird and the Famous? Isn't that your show?
Nearly.
All you guys sound alike.
The Guinness Book of Records, I do.
That's
do you know the longest marriage on record was that of Mr. and Mrs. J. Bernardi of Passaic, New Jersey, who were married for 68 years.
Good Lord.
And Mrs. Bernardi is still alive, and Mr. Bernardi died 5 weeks ago. He suffered a heart attack while throwing his grandson Jeffrey up in the air and catching him. Jeffrey is 62. Isn't that
He threw a 60.
More of the David Frost show after the news.
They
Deborah.
said you took over after the first week.
I guess it is time for the news at 8:31. Top story this morning is a plane crash in Thailand. At least 74 people are dead following the crash and explosion of an Air Vietnam jet near Bangkok. The jet was preparing to land during a heavy thunderstorm when it lost contact with the control tower and crashed into a rice field about 4 miles from the runway. Among the 6 survivors are the pilots who reportedly say the plane was hit by lightning. The Soviet-built jet was on a flight from Hanoi. It's not getting any easier for firefighters at Yellowstone National Park. Forecast today is for winds of up to 60 miles an hour, which will only fan the fire's flames more. Already, 1/3 of the park has been burned, and experts say it'll be 100 years before it recovers. While firefighters try to get a hand on the blazes, officials in Washington plan to reassess the park's policy to let naturally sparked fires burn themselves out, which Interior Secretary Hodel calls a disaster.
The first thing that we're going to do as soon as this fire is out is sit down with the Forest Service and discuss the policy and see what changes have to be made, because we don't ever want to see this duplicated.
Hodel and 2 other administration officials are headed for Yellowstone today on orders from President Reagan. And a spectacular fire is still burning at an oil well near California's Los Padres National Forest. Sparks from a short-circuited fan ignited the fire, which spread to the well itself and then on to 2 900-gallon oil storage tanks. Firefighters are spraying foam in the area to try to keep 9 other holding tanks from burning as well. PTL founder Jim Baker says he will drop his bid to regain his former ministry if he can't guarantee today that he's got the money he needs to buy it back. Baker has offered no proof that he has the $172 million he's bid for PTL, and Baker says it's time to fish or cut bait. There was more violence in South Korea today as several hundred radical students battled police at the university in Seoul. Students who are demanding that North Korea be allowed to co-host the upcoming Olympic Games threw rocks and firebombs at police, who responded with tear gas. Students also burned effigies of South Korean President No Tae-woo, as well as an American Uncle Sam. And finally this morning, there may be a big crowd at California's Newport Beach today, not to beat the heat, but to pad their pockets. On Thursday, about a 40-foot stretch of beach was covered in cash. People were carting money in, according to one lady whose daughter was having a birthday party at the beach. Her guests raked up about $187. Other beachgoers picked up hundreds more. Now, a lifeguard says this really isn't that unusual. Apparently, lots of people lose money from their pockets while swimming, and every so often that money washes on shore. See you at the beach. Jane, have a good trip to Korea.
And thank you. Be wise this weekend as a judge for the Miss America pageant.
I will try.
We'll be looking for you. And Willard has a check of the weather for us in a moment, and then the director and writer of Running on Empty after a message.
Tonight, Dad raised the son's fridge. He practically lived in mine. I'd always tell him, stay away from the big 3, salt, fat, calories, and watch the cholesterol. That's what Doc always told me. Looks like he did listen.
Fleischmann's Light, 25% less salt, fat, and calories than regular margarine, and no cholesterol.
What's enough for the big 3, Dad? Yeah, I listened. Most of the time.
Fleischmann's Light.
America's favorite son becomes America's latest hunk. This week's People anoints John F. Kennedy Jr. the sexiest man of the year. People covers his childhood and how he wowed them at the convention. John Jr., sexiest man alive. People, that's what we're all about.
Nothing gives glass a better, more crystal clear shine than vinegar. And no glass cleaner has the real vinegar formula that SOS Glass Works does. Glass Works with real vinegar cleans glass so clear it shines.
Post Fruit and Fiber presents new Cinnamon Apple Crisp and a Fruit and Fiber cereal fanatic who never forgets our name.
Right, never. Hey, this is new. Chunks of really crisp apple, cinnamon. It's fruit and...
Post Fruit and Fiber cereal introduces Cinnamon Apple Crisp with crisp, delicious apples, cinnamon, and high-fiber flakes.
Well, no wonder I forgot. This new taste is terrific.
New Cinnamon Apple Crisp Fruit and Fiber. Tastes so good, you forget the fiber.
The mood is gotten the moment your own. Abandon yourself to the feel. So comfortable, easy and calm. Embrace the feeling. Take comfort in cotton. Find the True Performance label on the Liberty of London sheet collection from Martex.
Well, it'll be the last time for several weeks I get to say, here's Willard Scott.
And listen, you have a wonderful time, because that's a great experience. I envy you very much. That'll be wonderful. Send me a card and bring me back something with a handle on it, and we'll have fun. Anyway, have a safe, God bless trip. And here's a neat little stamp. This is just coming out today at your post office. It's a stamp that is on the envelope already. It's from Snowflake, Arizona, and it is Snowflake, obviously, a weather stamp, and it's available at your neighborhood post office. Gertrude Borschulte of Webster Groves, Missouri, is 100 today. Grace Hartman of Orlando, Florida, formerly Indianapolis, is 102. Nancy Cooper, Tootie of Fayette, Missouri, is 103. Be on the lookout all weekend. Keep an eye on our friend down here. Florence is probably going to be a hurricane by this evening. It's now 350 miles south of New Orleans. Keep a weather eye anywhere from Port Arthur back to Pensacola. Also, some showers back down here in southern Georgia could cause some more flooding, and a little rain tomorrow to help the forest fires. That's good. Here's what's happening in your world, even as
A fairly cloudy morning today in L.A. Later on, it's going to be pleasant with some hazy sunshine. We'll hit a downtown high in the mid-80s, currently 67 degrees.
And the fantastic Missouri Military Academy. Mexico, Missouri is 100 years old today. And again, to David Frost and his brother Robert, how sweet, how grand. Let me hold thy hand. The time is 8:37. And now here is Jane.
Running on Empty was one of those movies that maybe had to wait for the times to catch up with it. Director Sidney Lumet felt that audiences were finally ready for a family story that revolved around a couple of 60s revolutionaries on the run from their past. Naomi Foner wrote the screenplay, and good morning and welcome to Today.
Good morning, Jane.
Sidney Lumet, I know you were not burning to do a 60s movie. You missed it. You were out of the country during the period. So what is it about Naomi's script that interested you?
It's about that permanent part of all our lives, Jane, about that moment of separation between parents and children when the children have to leave. Naomi once said a wonderful thing when we were working on the script. She said, parents and children are the only love affair in which you can measure the success of it by how well they break up. And I think that's what moved me.
The genesis of this idea, the parents who blow up a napalm factory, someone is hurt, and for the rest of their adult lives, they're on the run from the feds, and manage to raise a nice, happy family of 2 healthy boys. What was the genesis of that idea?
Well, I've been wanting to write about the 60s for a long time, but Amy Robinson and Griffin Donahue, the producers, found the way in that wasn't going to be the sort of banal way, which is instead of them looking at themselves, these 60s characters, their children are looking at them. There was the difference in point of view that really made it work. They had discovered a newspaper article in the New York Times about a group of radicals that were arrested in upper New York State, and all the people in the town in which they lived were just flabbergasted at how terrific these kids were. They were, you know, A students, they were on the Little League team, and at home their house was packed with Uzis and plastique.
Well, our Annie and Artie do not continue to wage the war that they admit was long since over. In fact, their politics nonetheless look a little faded and foolish. And yet there's something ennobling about these two. What is it? Did you intend for them to look noble?
Absolutely, Jane, because I love activists. Right, left, I don't care. If you got a conviction, follow it. Do something about it. And Annie and Arthur and that whole generation were enormously active people. Did, in my view, an extraordinary thing. Stopped a war without overthrowing a government. An amazing generation.
You mean for them to look, small h, heroic?
Yeah, because I think they were.
I meant them to embody the spirit of that time, to be, to deal with the fact that there was a whole generation of us who really cared very strongly about all of those issues and really made a social revolution in this country.
I'm not sure that American audiences are going to identify with that, but I bet they will identify with the fact that you have created in these two a couple of real good parents. Why don't we roll like that? Let's roll a clip for Running on Empty.
Danny's applied to college.
Where?
Juilliard.
How do you know?
Phillips. He wants him to go. Why can't he go?
Because we'll never see him again if he does.
Why? We could arrange to meet him.
Is that what you want? 10 minutes at an airport lounge and the FBI all over his ass the rest of the time. You know, I'm standing in phone booths at laundromats like my parents. Only connecting with us through the network. I don't think so. If he goes, we're never going to see him again. And that is unacceptable to me.
Judd Hirsch and Christine Lottie, were there real people? Do they stand for anybody who truly lived or lives?
Well, they're a compilation of a lot of things. I had some very close friends who were in fact underground, and it was very striking to me because one of my closest friends when I was growing up was in the Weather Underground, and then she in fact came up and has reestablished the life that she left to go underneath there. But in the meantime, both of us had become parents. And I couldn't help thinking when I saw her again how becoming a parent and how growing changes your attitude about everything in life, not the least of which is your politics.
In the meantime, some studios had passed on this project because, I mean, the 60s, who's going to go see every time? What a bummer. You're taking it head on, and in the advertisements for the film, you
yeah,
not 60s.
Not hiding it, not hiding it, Jane, and not hiding that there's a political base in it, and as central as the family relationship is, there's no doubt these people were in politics. They lead political lives, and I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of.
Well, we shall see, won't we? Sidney
Right.
Lumet, thank you for being with us.
Thank you,
and
Jane.
Naomi Foner. Thank you. We'll be back after this.
Sometimes when I was a kid, I used to sneak out of the house in my pajamas and run out into the cornfields as fast as I could.
A dog who's a big eater may end up with a big problem, extra pounds. But now there's new Alpo Lite with real meat, 100% adult nutrition, and 25% less calories. New Alpo Lite, the healthy way to satisfy a healthy appetite.
They used to call me a tomboy. I'd climb these trees in my daddy's groves and eat the oranges fresh picked. I'd come home with orange nails and a sticky chin, and Mom would put me right in the tub. That fresh picked goodness is captured by Tropicana Pure Premium. Most brands add things to or take things out of their juice. With Pure Premium, the way the rain and the sun make it is the way you taste it. Tropicana Pure Premium. You just can't pick a better juice.
You know, I still get a picture in my head of my mother. A little bit of a thing. Standing there by the stove stirring oatmeal. In a kettle pretty near as big as she was. There are 5 of us kids, and we grew up on oatmeal. Piping hot. We had it 3 or 4 days a week. I still love it. So putting all the nutrition stuff aside, I still know what I've known for over 50 years. Quaker Oats is the right thing to do.
This chandelier is being dipped in pancake batter and dried to prove that advanced Palmolive Automatic cleans the toughest stuck-on foods in one wash without powder residue. Try Palmolive Automatic. Once is all it takes.
An American film that attracted a lot of attention this spring at the Cannes Film Festival is set to open here in America next week. Miles from home, it's the story of 2 brothers who live on a once prosperous farm out in Iowa. When the bank forecloses, the 2 of them set fire to the farm and become fugitives. The brothers are played by Richard Gere and an actor who you may not have heard much about yet, but according to the critics in Cannes, you soon will. His name is Kevin Anderson. Good morning, Kevin.
Morning.
Is it a plus with your second movie to be playing it with a megastar like Richard Gere, or does it make it more difficult?
I suppose so. You know, I didn't really do it for those reasons. You know, I'm trying to pick projects, you know, based on the script and, you know, what it does to me. I suppose on a career level, you know, it might help me.
Does someone like that give you advice as you go along?
Richard does. He's very helpful. You know, I couldn't imagine working with any more of a generous actor.
And you went out there, both of you, and lived on a farm to prepare for this whole thing, didn't you?
Yeah, we were there for about a month before we even started shooting. Stayed on this farmhouse, this hog farm.
Is it true what it says in the release, that you learned to vaccinate calves?
Yeah, castrated pigs.
Sounds like fun. Nice way to relax before the glamour of this is the glamour of show business, basically, isn't it? Now you play very different parts too, don't you?
Yeah.
Two brothers, but very different brothers.
Yeah, he's very kind of obsessed. He's kind of on this freight train going nowhere. And I play the more kind of sensitive, understanding brother, I guess, younger.
Well, let's take a look at you in action. This is a scene from Miles from Home. This is, in fact, where Kevin, the sentimental side of his character coming through here, is the important lady in his life, Sally, played by Penelope Ann Miller.
Have you ever been on a farm at night, Sally?
No.
It's beautiful. Sometimes when I was a kid, I used to sneak out of the house in my pajamas and run out into the cornfields as fast as I could. It was wild, man. It was like a jungle out there. You couldn't even see the sky. And, it was just crazy. I'd be running and running and running and running through these cornfields until I stopped. And I realized I didn't know how to get back.
Now, that was one of your most demonstrative scenes in the whole movie, wasn't it? Because you were playing this quiet character. And I mean, one review I noticed at the Cannes Film Festival praised you for your passivity. Now, that must be the most difficult thing to do.
Oh, it is. When I first did it, the part seemed a little underwritten. So I was constantly kind of grappling with trying to find an arc to the guy, because he just doesn't say that much, and a lot of what he did say I found didn't really add to the forward progress of the movie, so it was real hard to kind of find a handle on where he was coming from.
And you were saying the other day that you get so many odd scripts and bizarre scripts and so on. Do you get, as you try and pick the next project, I mean, do you get lots of bizarre offers of parts and so on?
Oh, yeah. I did this Miami Vice where I showed up on the set for makeup, and I was supposed to play a lunatic. It's like a minute part. And I show up on the set, and they just strip down to your underwear. So I'm like, okay. And they proceed to paint my body in blue makeup, my entire body. They sprayed my hair blue. They put this gold tiara on me. I had no clue what was going to happen, you know. So, you know, like my folks are watching it back home, and I'm thinking, my God, you know.
Serious actors and directors around the world are watching this. You're not planning to make a series out of that role, right?
I don't think so, no.
But you're on another movie already, yes?
Yeah, Norma Jewison picture called In Country, and starring Emily Lloyd and Bruce Willis. It's really good. The screenplay is written by Frank Pearson, and I think it might be really good.
Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah.
Your first interview on a show like this?
Yeah, this is first time.
Didn't he do well? Didn't he do well? Right back after this.
Look who's coming to Saturday mornings. Get ready for the completely mental misadventures of Ed Grimley, starting Saturday.
This Saturday,
8 a.m. to 11 p.m.
the 15-hour sale.
At May Company.
25% off.
All silk glasses by Jonathan Martin and Valerie Stevens.
Save 50%.
On every fur.
50 to 60% off.
14-karat gold, sterling silver, and semi-precious jewelry.
30% off.
Every men's dress shirt.
Full queen or king sheet sets, $19.99. And this Mitsubishi 20-inch remote color monitor, $299.
Defer billing till January.
The 15-hour sale.
8 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Saturday.
Only
at May Company.
This is Channel 4, your station for the Summer Games.
Well, summer is not yet over, but Gene Shalit is already thinking of Christmas. He's just been to Lenox, Massachusetts for a sneak preview of the 1988 Neiman Marcus Christmas book.
So here we are in Blantyre, this beautiful place with this glorious Christmas tree and the fire crackling behind us. We really have the Christmas spirit, and Christmas reminds us of the Neiman Marcus gift catalog. We're surrounded with gifts. What are you going to show me first, Ann?
This, Gene, comes from the cover of our Christmas catalog, and it plays Send in the Clown.
Exactly. What a nice song and what a nice little ornament that is.
It's $22.50.
Okay. What
We
else do we have?
also commissioned a library step that was designed by Santa Fe artist David Ross, and it also becomes a casual side table.
Oh, how nice.
It's
You can put the
hand-painted.
catalog right on there, right? Next to the sofa.
Absolutely.
What else do we have here? This looks like a watch JR would wear. Is that what this is?
That's exactly what it is. It says South Fork, and it's in the shape of a horseshoe.
So this is from Dallas.
That's from the show Dallas.
From the show Dallas, it's
And
from the store
city
that's in Dallas, and it's from Dallas. So there's a Dallas watch. How many Dallas does it cost? $95, right? That's what that watch is. Okay, that's enough time. Next.
Well, you might be interested in these lovely chairs.
Tell me about those chairs. They're very nice.
Cedric and Beatrice were designed by Dallas artist Joanne West. They're all trompe-l'oeil and custom designed.
These are custom-made chairs. Any animal, any figure.
Any animal, any figure, any shape, any color.
Wonderful. How much are those chairs?
They're $1,250 each.
Wow. When people say we're going to play a few rounds of chess, this is what they mean, right? A round board. Look at this.
That was designed, Jean, by Jacques Carolman, who is a very well-known French artist, and it was commissioned especially for Neiman Marcus.
I don't want to get rooked, but how much is this?
That's $950.
I'll be happy to write out a check, mate. That's a very nice set. And what do we have here? More chess.
All chocolate, and it's the absolute delight for a chocolate-loving chess player. Your move, Jean.
That's your move, that's your move, and that's your move. Thank you very much.
And speaking of things chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate philately, I understand we have. Look at these stamps. Aren't they
Replicas
wonderful?
of very famous stamps. It's white and dark chocolate, and it's perfect for stamp lovers.
Here's the very famous upside-down airplane stamp, probably the most expensive stamp in the world, I think.
And it makes a very nice gift. It's $35 for the whole box of
Very
5
good.
chocolate stamps.
If I wanted to buy everything in the Neiman Marcus catalog, what is the total cost? I want one of everything this year.
$960,480.25.
Trouble with you is you don't come prepared for my questions. Is there tax on that?
You pay tax in states that have Neiman Marcus stores.
I see. Tell me about that fire engine.
Well, Jean, it's all yours. It's for
What is
big
this?
boys and little boys.
Ah, so you just push something, huh?
It's a remote control, and there's a siren.
Hey, says here ladder up. What a great fire engine. Says here, hey, where's the fire, coach? Forward. And I think a toy is something you should have to get down on the floor to play with, like this little racing car. Look at this thing. This is really great. Just wind it up a little bit and let it go.
And away it goes.
Whee! That's terrific. How much is this?
$80.
$80, and you can make any configuration you want, I assume.
You can configure it in quite a few different ways.
That's
It's
right.
very
All you
easy
have to do is have a
assemble.
talented father, and then you can get that made. And how much is that fire engine that I like so much?
That's $110.
That's really good, and it has 15 different functions, that fire
Yes,
engine.
it does.
It's more functions than I have, I can tell you that. One of the functions I do have is I try to play a piano with my feet. This piano that we all saw in Big, in the movie Big with Tom Hanks, let's see if I can do that, okay? That's really nice. Thank you. How much is that piano?
That's $3,500.
Well, that's notable. That's a little shorter than the one that was in Big with Tom Hanks.
This is a 6-foot 6-inch version.
It's a lot of fun. It keeps you footloose and fancy-free. And what is fancy but not free is the kind of fancy furs that Neiman Marcus has. Here's two beauties right here, and I'm meaning the coats. The further one, that looks like chinchilla.
That is a magnificent and very rare black chinchilla designed by James Galanos. And our Mary Ellen is a sable coat, and the bundle comes from the Leningrad auctions.
Wow. How much is that coat?
That's $150,000.
Those are really gorgeous coats. And what's this, a gorgeous little radio?
That is a clock television.
So it is a clock television. You can set it to wake up to the Today Show, right? And look at this. It's in color. Hey, that's me. Is this the his and her gift?
This is the 1988 His and Hers Cloudhopper.
How much is this thing?
This is $18,000.
Boy, I love it. I can't wait to get up there because everybody knows how I love heights and how I love to be up in an airplane. So long, everybody. I'll do anything for the Today Show. Eat your heart out, Willard.
Merry Christmas.
Where's all my elves? Where's Donner? Where's Blitzen? Whee! I'm ready to come down now.
I can't tell you how surprised I am at that. I am told that not only was that really Jean, but that was really Jean playing that piano, too. Remarkable. And has
Amazing.
anyone seen him since? No! We'll be back after a message.
New popcorn cakes. Real popcorn with a brand new crunch. Chico-san. All the fun and flavor of popcorn comes through in the crunch.
Caffrey toothpaste decaffeinates your smile.
Coffee and tea can stain your smile, like they stain your cup.
Caffrey gets out coffee and tea stains better than the leading toothpaste. Caffrey toothpaste or Minty Gel. Caffrey decaffeinates your smile.
It's allergy time again, when little things can cause big misery. It's time to get the big relief of Dimetapp Extentabs, the 12-hour allergy medicine. Dimetapp is recommended millions of times by doctors and pharmacists. Dimetapp, it gets things back to normal.
Oh, look at me back in the 60s, working up a sweat. Oh, and that's how I used to pump iron.
Not today. Today we're exercising more and eating less red meat. But red meat is a great source of iron.
Only Kellogg's Bran Flakes has high fiber and 100% of the iron recommended today.
So now I pump a little iron outside and inside. You know, I haven't felt this good since I burned that bathing suit.
Kellogg's Bran Flakes.
Some want almost nothing. Others want everything. At Holland America Line, we never forget whose vacation it is. The joy of doing what you want. The art of going your own way. Come, discover them aboard the ocean liners of Holland America Line.
David, would you say that being with us this week was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, or perhaps one that you would care to repeat?
I would love to repeat it any time. I would recommend anybody in America who's asked a guest host the Today Show to do it, because the team, Marty and Mike, are wonderful, and Willard, and you are heaven. Bon voyage.
Yeah,
bon voyage.
You had to say that, but you've been wonderful.
I didn't
honestly.
have to say it. I wanted to say it.
I'd go on, but there's no time.
It looks like the end. doesn't
We'll
it?
see you from Korea, everybody.
Why was Santa Barbara voted Outstanding Daytime Drama?
There is just never a dull moment.
Share the fun. Get involved with the Emmy winner, Santa Barbara, weekdays.
Okay! No restriction. Denver,
The president of Parador hasn't been himself lately, but with a little makeup.
You're asking me to be an imposter.
A little rehearsal.
Laugh. Wrong.
And a bit of persuasion.
Play the part or I'll kill you.
Richard Dreyfuss has become the new president of Parador.
Let's do some aerobics.
From the creators of Down and Out in Beverly Hills, Richard Dreyfuss and Sonia Braga. Moon over Parador. Rated PG-13. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Gonna leave you smiling. Come on, the feud is back.
Get set for The Feud, coming this fall on Channel 4.
You could be allergic to your husband. Next, Donahue.
NBC News at this hour, I'm Tom Brokaw. Forecasters expect Tropical Storm Florence to grow to a hurricane as it moves north through the Gulf of Mexico. The storm, with winds now of 70 miles an hour, is expected to hit Mississippi or Louisiana by tonight. In Thailand, the pilot of that crashed Vietnamese jet said that the plane was hit by lightning. At least 75 people were killed. And wholesale prices were up in August, a strong 0.6%. I'll see you tonight on NBC Nightly News.
Champion Elaine Polino has won cash and prizes totaling $34,210. This week, players will win a living room set, beautiful artwork, this gold watch, and a trip to New England, and continue a journey towards a fortune in cash and prizes, including a luxury automobile and $50,000 in cash. In total, over $100,000 on sale. of the century. And now, here's the star of the show, Jim Perry.
Hello there. Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy to have you with us. And we're happy to have you with us for Sale of the Century. If you've been with us for a couple of shows, you know we've had a champion who's been rolling along, picking up a lot of cash, and doing very well. This is Elaine Polino. Hello, Elaine.
Hi, Jim.
$18,700 in cash and over $34,000 in cash and prizes in just 3 shows. We congratulate you once again. Now, you're working as a secretary, right?
Yes,
But you have ambitions as an actress, right?
I sure do, Jim, and this will help me to continue my studies and have more free time to audition, I guess.
But that's terrific, and we wish you well again today. Good luck.
Thank you.
Here to introduce the challengers, Summer Bartholomew. Hello there, Summer.
I think she'll do very well.
I think she will. Yes, I think she was very good on camera.
Yes, she does. Our contestant is easily amused, originally from Beaverton, Oregon. Let's welcome Damon Jones.
Hello, Damon.
And she's a real pluck-up from Womack, California. Big hello to Diane Fisher.
Hello there, Diane. See you later with some bargains, Summer. Thank you. Diane.